Good evening, everyone. So before we start the debate, I would like to ask all of the debaters to state your name and your position starting from the government side. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Imran and I am the Prime Minister for this government side.
Assalamualaikum. I am Akhir, the Deputy Prime Minister from Pusat Tamhidi.
My name is Farisha. I'm the government whip from the Pusat Tamhidi A.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum. I am Laila Mastura. I will be the opposition leader.
Hello, Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Afif and I will be the deputy leader of the opposition for this debate. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. I'm Maisara Shazwani and I'll be the opposition whip for this debate.
All right, the House will come to order. I'm pleased to welcome you all to this quarterfinal round of USIM Vice Chancellor Debate Championship 2022. I would like to remind the members of the floor they may only raise point of information in the constructive speech and only after the first minute and before the last minute of speech. Also, please ensure that your internet connection is stable and your voice is audible. Are there any inquiries before we start?
All right. The House will come to order. I am pleased to welcome you all to this.
Okay. With that, I call upon the Prime Minister to deliver his speech. The floor is yours.
Okay, starting the stage in 3, 2, 1. Okay, first I would like to bid a very good evening to the Ms. Chairman, honorable educators, the timekeeper, members of the hall, and ladies and gentlemen. Okay, the motion for the debate today is that the hall will implement a gender rotation policy for the public roles, such as Prime Minister or cabinet members. And okay, first, I would like to define. We like to define this topic as the that we think that we agree that we should implement a gender rotation policy, which is the gender rotation policy is we're going to rotate between, okay, let's say Prime Minister, okay, we rotate between man and woman. Okay, we're going to to rotate this gender, the gender, okay, based on the gender, the woman first, and it will go on like that. Okay, we want to implement this policy on the specific part, which is the for the lead public roles. Okay, just to say that when I think about gender rotation policy, I didn't mean that we're going to implement this policy into all of the country, okay, to the entire world. No, we are going to implement this type of policy to the country that the constitution or their law allow them to for the prime minister to the prime minister can be man or woman. Okay, you have a lot of countries that use that part, and usually the country that that doesn't allow a woman to become a prime minister or the leader, especially that some some Islamic state like our own country. Our constitution doesn't allow the woman to become a prime minister. So okay, and about the gender protection policy, we are thinking that this gender protection policy they should rotate in according to their own preference. Okay, maybe some country want to rotate for 3 years or maybe 5 years or even maybe 10 years once. Okay, they will rotate the gender this gender rotation policy. Okay, they will do it, and we actually agree with this implementation to implement this gender rotation policy for lead public roles on the certain country, on this specific country. Okay, so I would like to go into my point first. Okay, my first point is that okay, we believe that this gender or called this gender even if it is a man or woman, we believe that they play a significant role on their own way to do the leadership and leadership roles and determining the quality of service in in the organizations or whatever it is. And also we believe that these genders okay okay also we believe that that these genders or whatever it is people's perception towards gender are quite vary from one to another, and we believe that this okay, the gender structures, their relations and social rules influence okay and their social rules can influence their to influence their activities and their their approaches to handle challenge, and it is include also for the women or the men the challenge on how they handle the challenges as well as the leadership responsibilities. Okay, and essentially leadership decisions and gender have a significant connection that should be evaluated to facilitate smooth operations in organization. Okay, leadership refers to a practical skills in incorporating the ability of an individual to guide others towards attaining common objective. As for a prime minister or anyone who lead the country, of course, they want the best for the country and for the society, of course. And okay, for that, we believe that we should also not just to protect, but also, we believe that we should show the capability of a woman also to become to become a leader. Okay, in a leader in a very big scope, which is in a very big responsibility, such as what we call as the prime minister or anything else. Okay, that's some kind of things. And also this gender about a woman. Okay, a woman became becoming what do you call becoming a prime minister. There are many countries that already do this, such as we have New Zealand, have Canada, Denmark, and France. So this country actually shows a very good country that that shows their leader, their prime minister, doing a good job. Okay, and this country, such as France, we have, if I'm not mistaken, the New Zealand Okay, for example, New Zealand is one of the countries that has win against the COVID-19. One of the ALS countries that wins against COVID-19. So it shows that their leadership is powerful. And for that, I would like to state that we believe that this house should should will implement a gender rotation policy to for lead public goals, and that's it. I would like to raise my case. Thank you.
Thank you to the Prime Minister for the speech. The speaker spoke for 7 minutes and 33 seconds. Now I would like to call upon Leader of Opposition to deliver her speech. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you for Ms. TYDP. Before I start my speech, am I audible and visible? Okay, thank you for the confirmation. Also, okay, the timer is on there on the screen. Okay, thank you, Ms. Timekeeper. Okay, so I will start my speech in 3, 2, 1. We understand the work for the government to have a gender balanced government. However, implementing the gender rotation policy is not the answer. Assalamualaikum and good evening. I bid to the chairperson, vice adjudicators, accurate timekeeper, my volunteer opponents of the government side, my loyal comrades of the opposition team, and also to the members of the house and the audiences. I welcome all to today's debate with the motion. This House would implement a gender rotation policy for lead public roles. Lead public roles means the Prime Minister and also the Cabinet members. I am Laila Mastura and I will be the leader of opposition. As the first speaker from the opposition side, I will be doing two things. Firstly, I will rebut the case brought by the Prime Minister and also present one argument from our side. Nextly, my second speaker, Mr. Afif, will presenting his arguments to oppose this motion. And lastly, my opposition whip, Ms. Maisara, will deconstruct the debate and show you why we are correct in our stance and why this motion should fall. Okay. So before I go into the opposition team stance and also our arguments, I would like to rebut the case by the Prime Minister. Okay, so firstly, he have explained about the mechanism of how they would like to implement the policy in which they would rotate men and women for each position. I assume for each position, and so this policy only applies for the lead public roles only, not the bottom, not the lower positions. Okay, I also understand that. And also he said that they would rotate every 5 or 10 years according to the preferences of the country. So I assume that this policy would be suggested to other countries, not just Malaysia, and where the country themselves could change of how long the government would hold their position. Okay, so that in principle is sounds good enough. However, he did not clearly explain of how they would rotate, because to elect a government you have to have the public election. So does this mean that to have the elections you should have this number of male candidates and also this number of female candidates to fulfill the policy, or would the policy be implemented before the election themselves? So maybe this year we should have all male candidates, or for this year we should have all female candidates. So which one do you want, Mr. Government? Okay, so until his points in which that he says he believes that both genders are equally good, so they should have both the chances of specifically for the woman to be a leader, to be the Prime Minister, to be the president of a country, with the examples given by using the New Zealand's president. Okay, so if you do believe that both genders are equally good at leading people, at holding positions, holding lead public roles, then they should not be a need for this policy. Rather than wanting to rotate men and women, you should instead allowing or encouraging more diverse in terms of genders, more diverse candidates, rather than just maybe the political field is very male dominated. So rather than having the policy to rotate men and women, gender rotation policy, it would be better for you to actually encourage more women to become the candidates rather than having this policy. Okay, so on to our case. So we, the opposition team, believe that this House would implement a gender rotation policy for public roles should fall, because we believe that the difficulties that comes with the policy themselves outweighs any possible benefits. So why do I say that? One, it is a waste of more capable candidates. By having this policy, by having a gender rotation policy, you would actually wasting the possible candidates, better candidates. So let's say that you, during the election, you have the best candidate for the prime minister position, but they could not take that position. Why? Because maybe the last time was it was a male prime minister, and this year the best candidate for that one is a male. He is a man, and hence, according to the policy, this best candidate cannot hold the position. Why? Because it is apparently the time for a woman prime minister. Also, it could be the vice versa. Maybe we could have the best woman prime minister candidate. However, because of the policy, we could not elect her as our prime minister. Why? Because it is not her turn. So it is the worst scenario, because it's just always you have these best candidates, you have these good candidates who are eligible, who have the qualifications to be the prime minister, to become a minister, but you did not give it to them because it is not their turn. So it is just a waste. Okay, and then by implementing this policy, a gender rotation policy, the government actually implies that gender is more important above else. It means that to hold a high position in the government, you must first fill the first criteria in which it is your turn, and then the next one before the other qualifications, whether you are actually able to hold that position or not. So it's just by saying that the government really implies that gender is above all, which gender is more important than other qualifications. So we on the opposition side believe that it should not be prioritized above everything, because gender is just when electing a candidate, when electing a minister or prime minister, you should not see at their gender, you should see at their qualifications. So the gender does not have a room in this equation. So with that, I would like to end my speech by reaffirming our stance in which that we oppose this motion, because we believe that the difficulties that come with the policies actually outweighs any possible benefits. With that, I rest my case. Thank you.
Thank you to the Leader of Opposition for the speech. The speakers spoke for 7 minutes sharp. Now, I would like to call upon Deputy Prime Minister for the speech and to deliver her speech. The floor is yours.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. I will start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good afternoon to Ms. Chairman, the educators, the Vice Timekeeper, and members of the floor. So the motion for today is the House would implement a gender rotation policy for lead public roles, such as Prime Minister and cabinet members. So we as the government team believe that the statement is true. So from the first speaker from the opposition team has tried to tell you that it is a waste of candidates when we wanted to appointed a new prime minister, especially when it's a woman. So I think that this is not true because from this election, we can actually make a new election, and we can shortlist the candidates according to their gender, woman or man on that year. And I don't think it's a waste of candidates because we in that way that when we do it, we can see who is more competent in terms of leading the country. We can see, oh, perhaps men was good in this type in these things, and also women, they had their own expertise. And also to her second point, she said that
Can I give you an eye?
no, thank you. She said
Okay.
that she did not agree with our prime minister that gender is more important than qualifications. You said that we don't have to see who is the one in charge of the country. We don't have to see the gender. We have to see the qualification. So what if there's a woman that actually can compete with this man, in the election? Then if they compete together, then we can see, we as the citizens who had the rights to choose who we want to be as the leader of our country, we can see who is more deserving to lead the public roles. And our first speaker, he already stated that gender has their own structures, relations, and social roles influence their activities and approaches to handle challenges as well as leadership responsibilities. Okay, to my first point. Firstly, I was talking to you about that gender actually influence effectiveness in leadership. Okay, some previous studies actually revealed this. These social stereotypes present that males are more salient than women in leadership. But these stereotypes are actually misleading since both men and women show effective leadership traits when provided with the appropriate infrastructure and necessary resources. Okay, for example, I will say we know that the Prime Minister of the New Zealand was actually a woman. It's not a man. And she was successful during the elimination of COVID-19 transmission during 2021. This actually a proof that women also successful on leading the country even in this particular big pandemic that happened right now. And I know you may think that, yeah, but not every woman would think like her. Like not every woman would think like the Jacinda Ardern. But what she did was actually already a big proof that women deserve the rights to lead a public roles. And also, to my second point, that studies reveal that women focus on developing and maintaining strong work relationship. Women focus on developing and maintaining strong work relations with both the junior and senior employees, especially to streamline operation. On the contrary, men, they were actually rarely focus on work relationships as they concentrate on results. I did not say that men never concentrate on work relationships, but I say that they rarely do it because usually it's the woman who done it. And actually, a woman leader debates an idea with the subordinate during when they trying to making a decision. And usually, men they always portray a calm and self-contemplation of issues before concluding on the concrete course of action. And more importantly, decision making involves ethics and moral responsibilities. The approach of male leaders to task is based on personal rights, justice, as well as fairness, while women actually handle more ethics with sensitivity, empathy, and compassion. Um, and also, um, I think the feminine values are evident in business and government institutions. Um, However, women abilities are linked to the traditional leadership view of masculinity. The difference between men and women arise due to consensual relationship that in consensual relations that emanate from feminine values. So, this chairman, the educators, wise timekeeper, and members of the floor. I would like to emphasize that we, as the government team, believe that both gender deserve the rights to lead a public roles, and we should implement a gender rotation policy for lead public roles. For lead public roles. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Prime Minister, for the speech. The speaker spoke for 7 minutes and 3 seconds. Now I would like to call upon Deputy Leader of Opposition to deliver his speech. The floor is yours.
Hello, am I audible? Wait, where am I hearing my own voice? Wait, 2DP, can you mute? Okay, thank you. Okay, can you see me clearly? All right. If everything is okay, I will be starting my speech in 3, 2, 1. Assalamualaikum and a very good evening to everyone. I am Muhammad Afif and I will be the Deputy Leader of Opposition for this debate. And as a Deputy Leader of the Opposition, what I will be doing for today is I will first be rebutting the points made by the Deputy Prime Minister, and then what I will do next is I will then present my points in order to support our stance on this debate, in which our stance is we oppose the motion because we think that the difficulties that come with the system outweigh the benefits that it potentially gives. So before I would like to go into my points, I would like to first rebut the points made by the Deputy Prime Minister. Firstly, what she said is, she talks about her rebuttal against the leader of opposition is that she talks about where they could make an election, they could shortlist, and the public can see who is more competent. And no, they say that, oh, no need to see the gender, they can only see, they think that, what if there is a woman more capable? But that is what we are trying to say here. We think that if we really think that both genders can both qualify for the lead public roles, we think that there is no need for gender rotation, because if we imply that there is a need for gender rotation, then for, let's say this, the current gender rotation is currently male. So we only need a male prime minister. So like you said, what if there is a woman more capable, but she can't be chosen because of the exceptions on, because of the rules, and there is no exception for it. Now, the point that she made, the first point that she made is about, she talks about gender influence. And she still talks about how women can still succeed in leading the country. But as the opposition, our stance and our objective does not. We also believe in equality in both genders, but so we are not implying that women cannot be elected as a lead public role, even if we stand with the motion. The motion, which, if I read again, implement a we oppose the implementation of a gender rotation policy. So let's say let's say there is no gender rotation policy, meaning that both men and women can qualify for the lead public roles. So in a sense, we are more we care more for gender equality more than the government. And this goes the same. This is also the same for the second point that she makes, which is also about how feminine values are also strong while leading a country. So if this is true, then surely there is more. There are very capable candidates for each year, so there is no need for gender rotation policy, as we have to elect these candidates based on qualifications first, and that then we do not need to consider the gender of each candidate. Now I will be moving on to my points, in which the first point that I will make is about public outrage. So as we all know, I would like to take Malaysians as an example. Malaysians, they tend to make a lot of political statements and comments on every inconvenience that happens in the country. They always blame the government body if anything that happens in the country goes off rails. So that is an issue that we will be talking about on another day. But as of now, in this situation, what if we add gender-led governments to the mix? Can you imagine what kind of chaos this will ensue? What will happen is that we believe that it will cause people to make discriminatory comparisons on gender based from the observation made by the public towards the government. So let's say during the 10-year time period in which the government is led by mostly female, because it is a female rotation. It is the gender rotation policy at the time is for females. So what happens if there are a lot of, let's say, inconveniences? Let's say, what if during the time span, COVID, another pandemic hits, and what if they face a lot of problems? They lack the strength to manage the issue. So what if those things happen? What happens if those things happen? People will start to blame women for the public will start to blame women for their incompetence. So when this trend continues for decades, what happens is that this will cause division between genders in the society, and the society will suffer in the end. By the way, timekeeper, can you please show me the stopwatch? I can't really see it. Okay, thank you. Okay, the next point that I will make is we believe, while we do think that every gender deserves equal opportunity, but we do still believe that there are some roles which are more suited to a specific gender. So let's say if you implement this gender rotation policy, this cannot be applied onto these roles specifically. So let's say, for example, the Ministry of Women, Family and Community Development, in which one of their main issues that they focus on are abusive marriages, in which mostly involves women. And we as the opposition believe that women are more understanding and rational on this topic specifically. And we wish to see only women to be participating in this role specifically, because we think that since the government has never mentioned anything about certain roles to be suited for a certain gender specifically in their mechanism, so we think that this is a good counter argument to that policy. So with all the points that I have given, I believe that we have proven that the opposition's world is far better, far superior than the government's world. And with that, I rest my case. Thank you.
Thank you to the Deputy Leader of Opposition for that speech. The speaker spoke for 7 minutes sharp. Now I would like to call upon the government whip to deliver his speech. The floor is yours.
Yes, am I audible? I will start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Good evening. I beg to the Miss Chairman, the adjudicators, the timekeepers, the members of the floor, ladies and gentlemen. Today's motion is about the House will implement a gender rotation policy for lead public role. Example, Prime Minister and Cabinet members. Wait. Can you still hear me? Because my screen is lagging. So we, as the government side, truly agree with this motion, align with our stance. Both gender has the right to lead a public role. So I would like to rebut the point that have been given by the opposition side. So they said that by doing this rotation, the gender rotation in public roles, we are wasting the possible of the best candidate. If we are saying that woman has the best candidate, so do the men that in that time, in that man spirit to take the role. So it's not just the only woman has the best candidate, so man doesn't have the best candidate at all, or of them are bad. No, of course they are still the best candidate in the men, so we still can choose the best candidates based on their gender or in that time. And even if they can't give they cannot take the main leader, right, president or the prime minister, they can take the other roles like deputy prime minister, because we our prime minister have said that we are only make the gender rotation to the uppers, to the highest, what we call it, position in that time. So they still can take the other roles like prime minister, the deputy prime minister, or the other type of minister they want. So it shouldn't be a problem if they are still the best candidate. So they can take chance to be the other minister and fight for
Your eye, please.
no, thank you. Fight for the prime minister for the next election. And they said that this gender rotation is not necessary because everyone are capable. Yes, everyone is capable, but as we see in this world, man is dominating the world of leader. Like lots of country have the leader of men. Like USA have that Joe Biden's and something like that. So we want to give the woman chance to rule the country, so that they still can choose which leader they think the best from the woman's candidate. So it doesn't have the problem to say that they will end up choosing the worst leader. No. And the second speaker said that
Your eye, please.
no, thank you. They say about the Malaysian always pick up about the politics, and it makes it will make chaos in this the whole 10 years. So we already said that we didn't state that all countries have to make 10 years of the ruling period. They can choose 3, 5, or even every year. So it doesn't always have 10 years. And I'm trying and I want to restate again that our prime minister have said that Malaysian are not involved in this gender rotation because we already said that we didn't want to imply this to the country that has the law of or constitution about the genders leader, and so do the Islamic country that needs the men to be the leader, because we don't want to bother their beliefs or their law. We are respecting their law. So Malaysian are not involved in this gender rotation, so it won't be a problem for the Malaysian. And if you are think that women are bad at ruling the country, so just choose the others candidate in the next woman time.
Your eye, please.
No, thank you. So that, and our Deputy Prime Minister have already told you about the female are capable in ruling country, and because they have effective way to rule the country or anything. So we know that women are capable too. So this is why we are giving chance by do the gender rotating things, because we don't want to only men's are dominating the leadership. So we want to give the women the chance. So this will enhance the the feminist movement. So it will show the world that women are capable too in ruling the country, not only by just get the smaller or lower position.
Your eye, please.
No, thank you. So they are only saying about wasting the possible candidates, but we already said that the voting are made by the citizen. So the citizen can choose which candidate they think the best. So they still can choose the best, even the best candidate was the man. But that time is the woman. So surely the woman still have the best candidate. Maybe the ways are not as same as the man's candidate. Now I would like to restate our stance that we want to have both gender has the right leads a public role, and we want to give the chance for women to enroll in this kind of leadership. So with that, I raise my case. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you to the government whip for the speech. The speakers for 6 minutes and 34 seconds. Now I would like to call upon opposition whip to deliver his speech. The floor is yours.
Hello, am I audible? Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today's motion is still this House would implement a gender rotation policy for lead public roles, for example, Prime Minister and cabinet members. So the first things first, what the Prime Minister had defined about the gender rotation policy itself, he stated that, and with the clarification from the government whip, is that it is to implement to the higher positions only. But don't you think that those of high position should be the ones that are most capable, because they are the ones who are going to lead those below them? So those of the high position should be the ones that are most capable. And the Prime Minister also stated that she stated that women. He also stated that because of this gender rotation policy, they can give chance to like women to become prime minister, and also give examples like New Zealand and whatnot. And as mentioned by my leader of opposition, we believe that it would be a waste of capable candidates, because to wait for the gender rotation to occur every 5-10 years, it is just such a big gap. For the Deputy Prime Minister, she stated, well, what I can summarize from it is that the way she rebuts and he giving points is basically saying is basically like for example, one of her points is like public can see who's more capable, male or female, by doing this gender rotation policy. Based on her rebuttals of what my leader of opposition had stated, based on her rebuttals, it seems like she clashes with the definition, as well as sort of denying the gender rotation policy itself. And that's basically what we are trying to achieve. We oppose this motion because we don't want gender rotation policy to occur. And she also focused more on like female leaders and how female are more capable in becoming leaders and whatnot. Well, our motion today is discussing about gender leadership itself, because and based on the motion itself, the gender rotation policy, because of this, there will be times where women will take the positions as well as men. It doesn't just focus on women itself. She just focused on how they want to give the rights to women. Then what about the males? They also want to rule, but she just focuses more on the female side. And so what I'm trying to say is that she in a way derailed from the motion itself. As for the government whip, once again, she mentions about women having a chance. Basically, what I can see from the government team is that they focuses more on giving rights to women. In comparison to our side, we are giving the pure gender equality here. We are giving both male and female chance to rule, to get higher positions. And we in fact are utilizing the more we are even giving the chance to more capable candidates to become leaders, as mentioned by my leader of opposition. So my leader of opposition stated clearly that by doing this policy, we would be wasting many capable candidates just because of this policy itself. When, for example, this year, it was the male's turn. So the female one won't get a chance to become the leader, to get the higher position. And it sort of clashes with all the points that you've been saying, that you want to give a chance for women to rule. And as the government itself, shouldn't we prioritize the qualifications and capabilities rather than the gender itself? As for my deputy leader of opposition, he clearly stated that this policy were to occur, it will cause public outrage. And he gave an example that Malaysians often make political comments and blame the government. So by adding this policy, it sort of adds this layer of chaos to the mix. Even without it, the political world is already rather chaotic. So it can cause, and he's also stated that it can cause division in the country. Is that what the government side wants? To cause division, to wreak chaos among the country itself? With that, I would like to restate our stance. We oppose this motion because the difference that comes with the policy outweighs the benefits that it gives. With that, I proudly oppose.
Thank you to the opposition whip for the speech. The speaker spoke for 6 minutes and 58 seconds. Now, both of the government and opposition are being given 1 minute to prepare the reply speech. The time is up. I call upon the speaker from the opposition side to deliver their reply speech. The floor is yours.
Okay, before I start my speech, am I visible and audible clearly without any lagging? Okay, thank you for the confirmation, Mr. Imran. Okay, so I can see the timer now. Thank you, the timekeeper. Okay, so I will be starting my speech in 3, 2, 1. Assalamualaikum, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, and we meet again in the opposition reply speech for the quarterfinals of this NC debate. I am Laila Mastura, and I will be delivering the reply speech from the opposition side, where I would summarize the debate and show you why we, the opposition, are winning to this debate. So today's debate is on the motion this House would implement a gender rotation policy for lead public roles, in which the lead public roles is for the Prime Minister, the Deputy Prime Minister, and also the cabinet members. Okay, so and we, the opposition side, believe that this motion should fall. Why? Because of our stance is that we believe that the difficulties by implementing this policy outweighs any possible benefit. So why we see that? We have 3 arguments to support our stance, in which the first argument is that this policy is actually wasting the more capable candidates we can have. Okay, so once again, I have said that by having this policy, you would actually selecting candidates from a smaller group, in which that this particular group may be not having the best candidate. Or you could have a case where there is a best candidate for a position. You can have this candidate is the best candidate for the prime minister position, and so they should have been and so because of their capabilities, they should have hold that position. They should have received that position. However, they could not. How? Why? Because of the gender rotation policy. Because it is not time for the male to become the prime minister. And so because of this, just because denying a candidate's right to hold a position, it would actually wasting wasting the potential of these candidates. And also, but once again, it also implies that the government actually believe that gender is more important above everything else. Okay, on to our second point, in which that the difficulties that comes with the policy is the public outrage. You can't say that just implementing this policy would not have any consequences, because it does. When you have a one gender dominated government, and also rotating it, maybe not yearly, by every election, you could have the public can comparing between one male led government and also a female led government. And once again, if when the commentaries are becoming a little bit too political, a little bit more discriminatory, it would cause division, and it would cause this discrimination and even hate towards the other gender. And also, our last point is that we have certain ministries which are more suitable for certain genders. So as an example, the Ministry of Women, Family and Community Development. It is clear that this ministry should have a female minister. Hence, the minister should hence to have a male minister who should be leading this ministry is a bit illogical. So based on that explanation, it also it actually invalidates the it would see that gender rotation policy actually does not cater for the minister and the consequent about the citizens. Also, to end my speech, I would like to leave you with two questions, in which that, do you believe that gender is the most important thing above all qualifications to be a leader? And also my second question is that, is gender requirement is actually superior to education and experience requirement? If your answer to these both questions is no, I believe that you should side with the opposition team, choose to reject the gender rotation policy and choose to reject this motion. Thank you.
Now, to conclude, let's welcome the speaker from the government side to give the reply speech.
Okay, first, am I audible right now?
Yes, you are.
Okay, I will start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Okay, good afternoon to Miss Chairman, the educators, the wise timekeeper, and members of the floor. Okay, so I would like to summarize again. I would like to summarize back of all the points that have been given from our Prime Minister and me as the Deputy Prime Minister. So from our Prime Minister, he had already stated about the gender has their structures, relations, and social roles influence their activities and approaches to handle challenges as well as leadership responsibilities. This sorry. He already stated that to show that even there's a lot of achievements of female leaders in the past years, and women have the capacity to make substantive developmental decisions that influence national as well as international progress. And to back to my point as the Deputy Prime Minister, gender. I'm sorry. So I would like to say that from my point, gender influence effectiveness in leadership. Because I will still be talking about the stereotypes that people keep on misunderstood about how women is actually weak than men, and they are not that qualified to be one of the public roles in the country. And also, women actually focus on developing and maintaining stronger relationship with the junior and senior employees, because naturally women would love to debate and any idea with their subordinates during making a decision. And also I would like to say about the opposition team. The opposition team keep on attacking our government team because we focus on women. The thing is, we did that because women are left behind in terms of leadership. This is what we're trying to emphasize, so that this motion should be implemented. We want to give both gender a chance to lead. If we don't rotate the leader, it will be hard for the women to rule, since people are naturally choose men rather than women to become a leader, even though the woman can be more capable. And we're not rejecting the elections that happening in our country right now. The way how our country handle the elections, but we want to be fair for both gender, and to show that women actually deserve to be a leader too. And even for example, there's a testimony for the successful country, for example, New Zealand, Canada, Denmark, and France. So as conclusion, notably, to achieve a balanced gender leadership, people should change overall perception of women in leadership and treat both genders equally. So I would like to reinstate back that we as the government team, I would like to reinstate our stance that both gender deserve the rights to lead a public roles, and we as the government team wants to implement a gender rotation policy for lead public roles. And that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, that is all for this round debate session. On behalf of the House, I thank the educators for their assistance, and I congratulate all the debaters on the performance. Now, the debaters may leave this meeting while the educators will remain in this meeting to discuss. Thank you.
Thank you for the debate, everyone.
Good job, everyone. Oh, that sounds sad. Good job, everyone. Okay. Hope to see you guys soon.
See you tonight.